Nemesis Enforcer dukes it out with the Dreadnoks, while Cobra Commander learns the secret of Energon. We've got her all right here in our review of Cobra Commander number 4 from Image Comics and Skybound. See you in 3. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of Cobra Commander number 4 from Image Comics and Skybound. Let's talk about the credits first. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Andrea Milana, colors by Annalisa Leone, and letters by Russ Wooten. The main cover, cover A, is also drawn by Andrea Milana with colors by Annalisa Leone. Before we dig into this issue, let's recap what happened in the last issue. Cobra Commander was captured by the Dreadnoks and he was taken to their secret base inside the Florida swamps. They tortured him pretty brutally throughout the entire issue, but at the end of it, he called for help and they thought it was just his bodyguard who we've seen accompanying Cobra Commander throughout his entire search for the Energon. But the bodyguard throws off his overcoat and his hat and whatever sort of nondescript disguise he's wearing, and it turns out that the man behind Cobra Commander this entire time has actually been Nemesis Enforcer. And then he starts going to town on the Dreadnoks. Okay, so let's talk about what happened in Cobra Commander number 4. While the Dreadnoks got their hands full with Nemesis Enforcer, Cobra Commander takes one of the Dreadnoks who've been beaten up pretty badly, and he drags him out into the back of their headquarters, where he sees a sort of dome-like door dug into the ground, which presumably leads to a bunker. And he says, "Open it, and let me see what's inside, because I know you're hiding something down there that I want." The Dreadnok is forced to comply. Cobra Commander goes down there and he finds an old scientist guy who's been working, it looks like, on Energon and Energon-based weapons. The guy says, "Oh, great, you're here to save me." And then Cobra Commander, who is kind of fast on his feet or quick with his tongue, says, "Sure, yes, I'm here to help you. You've been waiting for me and I've been looking for you." And so the scientist says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." He's groveling at his feet, and that's where we end that particular scene before we cut back to what's happening with the Dreadnoks and Nemesis Enforcer. Outside, the Dreadnoks have their hands full. They are just not equipped to deal with somebody of Nemesis Enforcer's particular brand of brutality. So they start kind of coming up with plans of maybe we can send some kind of Molotov cocktail at him. Maybe we can start shooting him out of the sky when he's flying by. But nope, they push Buzzer to try and distract the big brute, and he swoops down, picks up Buzzer, and basically crushes his wrist and drops him from a pretty big height down into the water. So Buzzer gets away alive, at least for now, but he's certainly not in good shape when it happens. The brother and sister team decide to throw some highly volatile Molotov cocktails at Nemesis Enforcer, but it doesn't do much good, and they take off in their, swamp skimmer is what you would call it. Yeah, that's what we call it. We cut back to the underground bunker, and Cobra Commander's looking around. He's very confused. He said, "You've been working on Energon type stuff. I see a lot of Energon right down here." And they've got these huge vats filled with Energon type energy. Scientist says, "Yeah, they've been farming it, the Dreadnoks, and they've been bringing it to me, and they tell me to process it and try to do something with it." But Cobra Commander is confused. He says, "Wait a minute, there's way too much Energon here. There's no way that there was this much Energon in the swamp." And the scientist goes, "I've had so much time to work down here by myself because I've been trapped and held hostage and with nothing to do all day but just this. I figured out how to make basically a diluted replication of Energon using raw materials. So it's not quite as good as regular Energon, but it's good enough to get the job done." And so he gives him a demonstration where he creates a small Energon cube from some raw materials that are available on Earth. And Cobra Commander takes the little bug-like robots that they have laying around in the lab, exposes it to the Energon, and yep, sure enough, it transforms them into effectively Cybertronian type bug drones. And Cobra Commander's like, "My goodness, you are the bee's knees, my friend. So you're coming with me. Golobulus is going to be super pleased." And the scientist is like, "Oh, wait a minute. Okay, sure. All right." But yeah, the Cobra Commander is ready to go. And that's where we cut. That's where we cut to the next scene where Cobra Commander comes out. But it's not quite what you think when he gets to meet Nemesis Enforcer again. When Cobra Commander emerges from the bunker, he finds Nemesis Enforcer standing there waiting for them. And he says, "Well, we've got the new plan, which is essentially the same as the old plan. Is now that we know that there's Energon here, and now we have a scientist who knows how to replicate it, now we can use this to create an army and bring it back to Cobra Law, and Golobulus is going to be super pleased. Let's go." Nemesis Enforcer, you're my guy. Let's get it done. Let's bring the scientist home, and our mission will be complete. And unfortunately, unfortunately for Cobra Commander, he gets the stink eye from Nemesis Enforcer, and he's like, "Wait a minute, what's the problem? What are you talking about?" And Cobra Commander is just trying to get him to comply, but Nemesis Enforcer is absolutely not going to comply. And oh my, how the turntables, because Cobra Commander is trying to get Nemesis Enforcer to grab the Dreadnok, because he's going to take that Dreadnok and force him to convey or explain all the arms dealers that he's used to dealing with, so that when they create these weapons, they sell them to the highest bidder, they make a ton of money, and they can use that to buy an entire army. But Nemesis Enforcer isn't having any of that. And what he learns then is that he secretly has been given a mission by Globulus to kill Cobra Commander once Cobra Commander has found out where the Energon is and how to get more of it. So effectively, Cobra Commander has been used by Globulus, and Nemesis Enforcer is now supposed to kill him. But does he kill him? Well, not exactly. It turns out that the Cybertronian drones that Cobra Commander made down in the bunker aren't just for show. He gathers them together and he converts them into what effectively looks like a Tony Stark style repulsor ray glove. And he blasts Nemesis Enforcer right through the midsection, and that's the end of that, even though Cobra Commander takes quite a beating before that happens. So even though he got backstabbed, Cobra Commander is back on track with Nemesis Enforcer down for the count. And before we wrap it up, what happens? Cobra Commander catches up to the Dreadnok that sort of ran away in the scuffle, catches up to him and says, "Okay, well, that was a distraction and I got pretty beat up, but you're still going to tell me who all your arms dealers are that you're selling to, because I need to make some money and I need to build an army, and you are going to tell me who you do business with." And the Dreadnok, forced to comply because he's got no other choice, gives the name of his big arms dealer, and it's no, I'm not going to spoil it here, but it's a name that you will absolutely recognize as part of the G.I. Joe universe. So, what do we like about Cobra Commander number 4? Lots of action. It's violent action, so this is definitely not the kids' cartoon that you're used to. Plenty of destruction, explosions, people getting beat up and slashed and hacked in all kinds of serious ways. So this is a more mature version of G.I. Joe as you remember it from the cartoon days in the 1980s. Cobra Commander is definitely a badass from start to finish. He's not a big fighter, big bruiser type of fighter in that sense, but he's clever. He knows how to use leverage. He knows how to manipulate. And when he needs to get physical, he can, even though he doesn't do it as much. But when he does it with intention and impact and focus to get where he needs to go. Plus, he anticipated the backstab from Nemesis Enforcer and Globulus. So he also has that sort of crafty mind. So in every way that this series is meant to elevate Cobra Commander as somebody you don't want to mess with or take lightly, this issue definitely proves that is exactly what's happened here. And good job to Joshua Williamson for elevating Cobra Commander to a strong central villainous figure that can carry forward into the G.I. Joe series of events that are happening at Skybound. What didn't we like about this issue? I think the only thing that comes across, and it's a minor nitpick, is there is no way Cobra Commander could have anticipated what the Energon would do to those sort of bug-like drones, let alone how he could take those drones and then configure them into a Tony Stark's Iron Man style repulsor ray glove. I mean, it looks cool. It's a cool development, but that just sort of comes out of nowhere in the sense that there's no way he could have known that was going to happen, but yet he makes it happen. I mean, so good on Cobra Commander for figuring that out, but at the same time, it's sort of like, well, he just sort of knew, and that it just seems a little bit odd, and it kind of takes you out. Even though the scene looks cool, it takes you out of the story a little bit. Let's switch gears to talk about the art from Andrea Milano. It generally looks good. The line work is not particularly clean, especially on curves and straight edges. So when you're dealing with a lot of text stuff, you want those to stand out sharp and look machine created and look like you would expect a machine to look. So the looseness of the style of the pencils and the inks from Andrea Milano, it looks a little off, but it's not terrible. It doesn't take you out too badly. But I mean, overall, it's a nitpick. So we wish the pencils and the inks were a little cleaner, a little sharper, a little bit more precise. But overall, it looks good. And where you need it here in this issue are the big pop moments, the big wow moments, particularly anytime there's a fight with Nemesis Enforcer, and all those scenes look great. Final thoughts. What do we think of Cobra Commander number 4 from Image Comics and Skybound? Lots of great action, lots of cool twists and turns, lots of cool action moments, and plenty of drama. And that last page reveal of a certain character whose name we shall not spoil is a big cool wow moment. So overall, this is a really strong issue, possibly the strongest issue of the series so far. Therefore, we're going to give Cobra Commander number 4 a 9 out of 10. We could have gone a little bit higher, but I think the lack of precision and crispness on the art is the only thing that's holding it back. And that little thing with the repulsor ray glove was a little bit of a weird oddity. But if those were kind of dealt with better, it would definitely be a much higher score, possibly even a 9.5 or a 10. So what do you think about Cobra Commander? Are you liking the Energon universe from Image Comics? Do you think this is a great series, or are you just sticking to the main Transformers stuff and the main G.I. Joe stuff? Let us know in the comments section. And before you go, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notification, and stay tuned through the outro for the next review.